that proves how a tiny everyday coin can sometimes hold a value so extreme that it completely defies logic. Today we are talking about the 1977 1-cent Roosevelt Liberty coin, a coin that most people would normally ignore, spend without thinking, or leave forgotten in a jar, yet under very rare circumstances this single cent has been rumored, discussed, and speculated to reach values approaching an astonishing $200 million, a figure that seems impossible when you consider its humble face value of just 1 cent. But stay with us because by the end of this video you will understand how minting errors, mistakes, mint mark anomalies, transitional metal issues, die varieties, and extreme rarity can transform a simple copper coin into one of the most valuable numismatic treasures imaginable, the 1977 1-cent Roosevelt Liberty coin comes from a period in United States mint history that many collectors overlook, yet it was a time when massive production numbers, aging equipment, experimental processes, and human oversight combined to create the perfect storm for extraordinary mint errors. During the late 1970s, the U.S. Mint was striking billions of coins annually to meet public demand. And when production reaches that scale, perfection becomes nearly impossible, mistakes slip through, dies wear out, planchets get mixed, and quality control can miss extremely rare anomalies that later become legendary. The 1977 cent is officially supposed to be a standard copper alloy composition, struck primarily at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with no mint mark indicating Philadelphia and a small d mint mark representing Denver. Yet collectors have long speculated about a series of ultra-rare error strikes and experimental planchet anomalies associated with this year, especially involving mint mark placement errors, missing mint marks, doubled or tripled impressions, off-metal strikes, and transitional errors that place the coin far outside its intended specifications. What truly separates the rumored $200 million versions from ordinary examples is not just one error but a convergence of multiple extreme errors on a single coin, the kind of coin that should never exist under normal minting conditions. For example, imagine a 1977 1-cent Roosevelt Liberty coin struck on the wrong planchet, such as a bronze alloy meant for another denomination or even a foreign blank, combined with a dramatic double die obverse that shows strong doubling on the date, lettering, and Roosevelt portrait. Add to that a misplaced or inverted mint mark error, or a mint mark that appears where it should not exist at all, and suddenly the coin becomes something that rewrites what collectors believe is possible. Mint mark errors alone can drastically affect a coin's value, because the mint mark identifies where a coin was produced, and when that mark is missing, doubled, punched over another mint mark, or placed in an impossible location, it raises immediate red flags that demand expert examination. During the 1970s, mint marks were still hand-punched into working dies, which means mistakes could and did happen, a D over D, D over S. Or even a phantom mint mark impression could be created if a die was improperly prepared or reused. Now imagine a 1977 cent that should not have any mint mark at all, yet shows a faint but unmistakable D or S in a strange position. This alone would make it a major numismatic discovery. But the real leap toward astronomical value comes when such a mint mark error is paired with metal composition anomalies. Collectors have long chased transitional errors where a coin is struck on a planchet intended for a different year or denomination. And if a 1977 cent were discovered struck on a rare experimental alloy, or even a planchet that was never officially authorized for cent production, its value would immediately soar into the millions, especially if metallurgical testing confirmed that the composition matches no known standard issue. The possibility of a wrong metal strike, such as a cent struck on a dime or foreign coin planchet, creates an entirely new level of desirability, because it represents a physical mistake that escaped one of the most tightly controlled manufacturing environments in the world. Errors like these are not just rare, they are often unique, meaning only one example may exist, and uniqueness is one of the strongest drivers of extreme value in coin collecting. Another factor that pushes the 1977 1-cent Roosevelt Liberty coin into legendary territory is die error complexity. A simple doubled die can be valuable, but a dramatic multi-generation doubled die with strong separation, visible to the naked eye, affecting the date, motto, and portrait, combined with die cracks, cuds, or retained breaks, transforms the coin into a one-of-a-kind artifact. These kinds of dies are usually caught and destroyed quickly, so a coin showing all of these features at once suggests it was struck at the very end of a die's life, when quality control was overwhelmed or overlooked. Some collectors believe that a handful of experimental or test strikes may have occurred during this period. Coins that were never meant to enter circulation but somehow did, and if a 1977 cent could be definitively proven to be one of these experimental strikes, its historical importance alone could justify a value in the hundreds of millions, because museums, private collectors, and institutions would compete fiercely to own it. Provenance also plays a massive role in determining value. A coin with a documented history, tied to a specific mint employee, mint experiment, or discovered in a sealed mint bag or original roll, carries far more weight than an anonymous find. If a 1977 1-cent Roosevelt Liberty coin surfaced with documentation proving it came from a mint-era batch that was supposed to be destroyed, its value would skyrocket beyond conventional price guides. Another fascinating aspect is the psychological and cultural value of such a coin. In numismatics, perception matters. When collectors believe a coin represents the ultimate error, the ultimate rarity, or the ultimate mystery, they are willing to assign values that defy traditional logic. The rumored $200 million valuation is not about what the coin cost to make, or even what similar coins have sold for. It is about the idea that this coin should not exist, that it represents a failure in the system so complete that it becomes priceless. Face value becomes irrelevant when rarity, error magnitude, and historical significance collide, and this is why even a single cent can be viewed as more valuable than gold bars, diamonds, or luxury properties. Condition further amplifies this effect. An era coin in poor condition is interesting, but an era coin in pristine mint state, with full luster, sharp strike, and minimal handling marks, becomes exponentially more valuable. If a 1977 era cent with all these anomalies were preserved in near-perfect condition, it would be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, the kind of coin that auction houses would build entire events around, drawing global attention from collectors, investors, and media outlets. Grading services would analyze it for months, using advanced imaging, metallurgical testing, and dye state analysis to confirm its authenticity, and once certified, it would enter numismatic history as one of the most important coins ever discovered. Another layer to consider is the possibility of intentional experimentation or undocumented mint practices. While the U.S. Mint maintains strict records, history has shown that not every test, trial, or adjustment was perfectly documented, especially during high-pressure production periods. Some coins may have been struck as tests and accidentally released, and these undocumented pieces become legends when found decades later. A 1977 1-cent Roosevelt Liberty coin with characteristics that match no known production standard could be evidence of such an undocumented experiment, and the mystery alone would drive collectors into a frenzy. Value in numismatics is not just about metal and rarity. It is about story, and a coin with an unbelievable story becomes irresistible. The face value of 1 cent becomes almost symbolic, representing how something so small and overlooked can carry immense hidden worth, which resonates deeply with collectors and the general public alike. This is why videos like this capture so much attention, because everyone wonders if they might be holding something extraordinary without realizing it. Jars of old pennies suddenly feel like potential treasure chests, and people begin inspecting dates, mint marks, and details they once ignored. The 1977 1-cent Roosevelt Liberty coin serves as a reminder that errors are not flaws in the eyes of collectors. They are miracles of chance, the result of countless variables aligning in just the wrong way at just the right moment. While most 1977 cents are worth only their face value or a small premium, the possibility that one could be worth hundreds of millions transforms the entire narrative. It creates excitement, curiosity, and hope, and it fuels the ongoing hunt that defines coin collecting as a hobby and an investment, even if only one such coin exists, or if its value remains theoretical until a verified example is publicly sold. The legend itself has value, it keeps collecting. One of the most talked about and mysterious coins among modern collectors. The 19 Liberty 1-cent coin, a coin that on the surface looks like an ordinary copper cent worth just a single penny, but beneath that modest face value lies a world of minting anomalies, error possibilities, mint mark mysteries, and collector speculation so intense that some extreme theoretical valuations have reached numbers as high as subjects in numismatics, especially for those who love the thrill of searching circulation for overlooked treasures. And as we begin this journey, it's important to understand that the true magic of this coin is not what it was intended to be, but what it accidentally became due to mistakes, errors, and rare quarks that transform a common one cent piece into a potential legend. The 900s of millions of coins each year to meet everyday demand, and in that high-speed environment even the smallest deviation in planchet preparation, die engraving, hub alignment, metal composition, or mint mark punching could result in dramatic errors slipping into circulation unnoticed, and this year in particular has become a focal point for collectors because of the sheer volume of coins struck combined with subtle yet significant history has shown time and again that large mintages often hide the greatest error discoveries because quality control can be stretched thin, increasing the likelihood that flawed coins escape into the public, and when those flaws are rare, dramatic, or unique, their value can rise exponentially beyond their face value. the most intriguing aspects of the 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1 cent is a tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. Another major category of value-driving mistakes is off-metal or wrong planchet errors, and during the early 1980s the U.S. Mint was transitioning and experimenting with different metal compositions, meaning that a 1-cent coin could theoretically be struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or composed of an incorrect alex. Cuds and die breaks are another area where the 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1 cent gains attention, as prolonged use of worn dies can cause metal to flow into damaged areas of the die, creating raised blobs, cracks, or missing details on the coin. And large dramatic cuts that intrude into the design are particularly prized because they are visually obvious and represent a specific moment in the die's lifespan, meaning only a small number of coins could have been before the die was retired. Strike through errors that yet another places, especially when graded and encapsulated by a major third-party grading service that confirms authenticity and assigns an official grade. The psychology of collecting cannot be ignored either, because coins like the 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1 cent capture imagination precisely because they blur the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary, turning spare change into potential life-changing treasure, and this emotional element drives demand just as much as technical rarity, encouraging collectors to search rolls, jars, and old collections with renewed excitement. Stories of accidental discoveries, where a rare coin was found in circulation or inherited unknowingly, further amplify the mystique and fuel the belief that the next record-breaking piece could still be out there waiting to be found. broader historical context of the early 1980s also adds depth to this coin's narrative, resulting in visible doubling on inscriptions, dates, and design elements, and if the date 1990 shows strong doubling, especially on the numerals or lettering associated with Liberty or Roosevelt. Related iconography as interpreted by collectors, such a coin can be worth thousands or even millions depending on the strength of the doubling and the number of known examples, and when no other examples are confirmed, speculation alone can drive values into stratospheric territory, because uniqueness is the ultimate currency in numismatics. And closely related to double die errors are repunched mint marks and missing mint marks, which are especially important for 1990 coins struck at facilities like Philadelphia and Denver, because mint marks are applied either by hand or machine depending on the era, and any deviation such as a mint mark that is doubled, shifted, partially missing, or entirely absent can signal an error that collectors will fiercely compete for, and a missing mint mark on a coin that should have one creates a paradox that excites collectors because it contradicts official mint records. And when such a coin is authenticated and graded by its Hopper grading service, its value can skyrocket overnight, and beyond mint marks, strike errors play a massive role in determining value, because an off-center strike where the design is noticeably misaligned yet still fully dated can command enormous premiums, especially if the misalignment exceeds 50% and the coin remains uncirculated, and a broad strike error, where the coin expands beyond its intended diameter due to the absence of a retaining collar during striking, can also elevate a 1991 cent into a high-value collectible, and when such errors occur in combination with others, the value multiplies rapidly. And another critical category is die errors, including cracked dies, shattered dies, cuts, and retained die breaks, which leave raised lines, blobs, or distortions on the coin's surface. And while minor die cracks are common and often inexpensive, massive die breaks are not flaws in the eyes of collectors, they are miracles of chance, the result of countless variables aligning in just the wrong way at just the right moment. While most 1977 cents are worth only their face value or a small premium, the possibility that one could be worth hundreds of millions transforms the entire narrative. It creates excitement, curiosity, and hope, and it fuels the ongoing hunt that defines coin collecting as a hobby and an investment, even if only one such coin exists, or if its value remains theoretical until a verified example is publicly sold. The legend itself has value, it keeps collectors. One of the most talked about and mysterious coins among modern collectors, the 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1-cent coin, a coin that on the surface looks like an ordinary copper cent worth just a single penny. But beneath that modest face value lies a world of minting anomalies, error possibilities, mint mark mysteries, and collector speculation so intense that some extreme theoretical valuations have reached numbers as high as $215 million, making this coin one of the most fascinating subjects in numismatics, especially for those who love the thrill of searching circulation for overlooked treasures. And as we begin this journey, it's important to understand that the true magic of this coin is not what it was intended to be, but what it accidentally became due to mistakes, errors, and rare production quirks that transformed a common 1-cent piece into a potential legend. The 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1-cent coin was produced at the Denver Mint during a period of massive coin production in the United States, a time when the U.S. Mint was striking hundreds of millions of coins each year to meet everyday demand, and in that high-speed environment even the smallest deviation in planchet preparation, die engraving, hub alignment, metal composition, or mint mark punching could result in dramatic errors slipping into circulation unnoticed, and this year in particular has become a focal point for collectors because of the sheer volume of coins struck combined with subtle yet significant minting issues that may have occurred without immediate detection. Official mint records indicate that approximately 215 million 1-cent coins bearing the D mint mark were produced in 1984, which on its own would normally suggest that the coin should be extremely common and of little interest. But history has shown time and again that large mintages often hide the greatest error discoveries because quality control can be stretched thin, increasing the likelihood that flawed coins escape into the public, and when those flaws are rare, dramatic, or unique, their value can rise exponentially beyond their face value. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1-cent is the possibility of double die errors, which occur when the die used to strike the coin receives multiple impressions from the hub at slightly different angles or positions, resulting in visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. And if such a double die exists on this issue affecting key areas like the date, the word Liberty, or the Roosevelt portrait details, it could create a variety that collectors would fiercely compete to own, because strong double dies are among the most valuable and visually striking errors in American coinage, sometimes selling for tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on rarity and condition. Another major category of value-driving mistakes is off-metal or wrong planchet errors, and during the early 1980s the U.S. Mint was transitioning and experimenting with different metal compositions, meaning that a 1-cent coin could theoretically be struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or composed of an incorrect alloy, resulting in unusual weight, color, thickness, and sound. And if a genuine 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1-cent were discovered struck on experimental, foreign, or mismatched planchet, and authenticated by experts, the uniqueness of such a piece could push its value into extreme territory due to its one-of-a-kind status. Mint mark errors also play a crucial role in the mythology surrounding this coin, because the D mint mark itself was hand-punched into the die during that era, leaving room for repunched mint marks, misplaced mint marks, tilted mint marks, or even missing mint marks caused by die polishing or clogging. And while a missing mint mark on a Denver coin would be highly unusual, any abnormality involving the mint mark could drastically alter the coin's desirability, especially if it represents a previously undocumented variety. Die cracks, cuts, and die breaks are another area where 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1-cent gains attention, as prolonged use of worn dies can cause metal to flow into damaged areas of the die, creating raised blobs, cracks, or missing details on the coin. And large dramatic cuts that intrude into the design are particularly prized because they are visually obvious and represent a specific moment in the die's lifespan, meaning only a small number of coins could have been struck before the die was retired. Strike-through errors add yet another layer of intrigue, occurring when foreign materials such as grease, cloth fibers, metal shavings, or debris rests on the die or planchet during striking, leaving an impression or void on the finished coin. And when such errors intersect with key design elements, they become even more valuable because they create a dramatic and unmistakable anomaly that cannot be replicated. The possibility of alignment errors, where the obverse and reverse designs are not properly oriented, also increases the value spectrum for this coin, because severe rotation errors or offset strikes can transform a standard cent into a conversation piece that stands out instantly in any collection. Some collectors and speculative narratives also focus on the theoretical existence of ultra-rare transitional or mule errors involved in 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1-cent, such as a mismatch between obverse and reverse dies from different years or denominations. And while such errors are extraordinarily rare and often controversial, The mere possibility fuels intense interest because confirmed mules in U.S. coinage history have sold for astronomical sums due to their accidental nature and limited survival. When discussions turn to the staggering figure of $215 million, it's crucial to understand that such a valuation is not tied to an ordinary example of the coin but rather to a hypothetical perfect storm scenario where a single coin embodies multiple extreme error types simultaneously, such as being struck on the wrong metal, showing a dramatic double die, featuring a unique mint mark anomaly, and existing as the only known specimen of its kind, because in the world of elite numismatics, uniqueness is king, and when collectors with virtually unlimited resources compete for a singular artifact, traditional price ceilings no longer apply. Condition also plays a monumental role in determining value, as a coin with even the rarest error will lose significant worth if it is heavily worn or damaged, whereas a pristine uncirculated example with full original luster, sharp details, and no post-damage can command exponentially higher prices. Especially when graded and encapsulated by a major third-party grading service that confirms authenticity and assigns an official grade. The psychology of collecting cannot be ignored either, because coins like the 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1 cent capture imagination precisely because they blur the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary, turning spare change into potential life-changing treasure, and this emotional element drives demand just as much as technical rarity, encouraging collectors to search rolls, jars, and old collections with renewed excitement. Stories of accidental discoveries, where a rare coin was found in circulation or inherited unknowingly, further amplified the mystique and fueled the belief that the next record-breaking piece could still be out there waiting to be found. The broader historical context of the early 1980s also adds depth to this coin's narrative, as the U.S. Mint faced economic pressures, rising metal costs, and increasing production demands, all of which contributed to an environment where mistakes were more likely to occur and less likely to be caught immediately, creating fertile ground for error varieties that only later gained recognition. Over time, as more collectors study die states, mint records, and surviving specimens, new varieties can emerge that were previously unknown, meaning the full story of the 1984 D. Roosevelt Liberty 1 cent may still be unfolding, with undiscovered errors potentially sitting unnoticed in collections or circulation. The role of professional authentication is critical in separating myth from reality, because the market is filled with altered coins, damaged pieces, and misinterpretations that can mimic genuine mint errors, and only thorough examination by experts using precise measurements, metallurgical analysis, and diagnostics can confirm whether a coin truly represents a rare mint mistake or simply post-mint damage. This process of verification adds another layer of drama, because coins suspected to be extraordinary must pass intense scrutiny before it can achieve legendary status, and each confirmed discovery reshapes market understanding and collector